Hey, Jacob here from Firebrand Astrology, Tarot and Healing. Hey, I hope you're well, etc., and you're doing okay. So, this is the reading for the week of the 19th of September through to the 25th of September. It's a week that sees the equinox. So, in the northern hemisphere, we're seeing the days become shorter than the nights, and in the southern hemisphere, you're seeing the days become longer than the nights. The equinoxes are very important astrologically. Quite often, most of the pre-Christian religions based a lot of their stuff around the times of the equinoxes and the shortest and longest days, things like places like Stonehenge and all of these old temples, all based on the cycles of the sun and the equinoxes, and therefore the sign changes, and this is all cardinal signs, so maybe cardinal signs are the most important. So let's call up the chart. So I haven't been at work this week because I've been sick, probably because I'm doing too much. Okay, so Monday the 19th. So this week we see the sun move from Virgo into Libra, joining Jupiter in Libra. We see Mars almost go into Capricorn, out of Sagittarius into Capricorn. So at the end of the week, Mars is approaching the tested degree of Sagittarius. So this will be tested on our beliefs. Remember, we've got Mercury. Mercury is at 15 degrees of Virgo. It has retrograded back to 15 degrees of Virgo. So is opposing Neptune and the South Node in Pisces. So we're still dealing with the square energy. We still have the Sun squaring Mars. I felt the Sun square Mars transit quite deeply in regards to my health, because Mars is in my 6th house. So look where Mars is in your chart and where the 26 degrees of Virgo is. Look around those degrees to see what areas of your chart have been fucked over by the Sun square Mars. We have Venus at 24 degrees of Libra opposing Uranus. So, love relationships may come out of nowhere and end abruptly and without any reason. This week you might see relationships just end, or surprises in relationships, surprise marriage proposals, people declaring they love you out of nowhere. We have in Scorpio, we have Black Lilith at 13 degrees of Scorpio. So, Black Lilith is all about feminine rage. So if you've got anything around those degrees of Scorpio, you're going to be affected by that. We see the moon in Taurus grounding energies a little bit. On Tuesday, we see a grand trine in Earth, which is great for grounding the energies, but sometimes too much Earth energy leaves us stuck and trapped in the mud, so to speak. So the moon in Taurus trining Mercury in Virgo and Pluto in Capricorn, and this is all about kind of really feeling the transformational energy we are working on. But because Mercury is still retrograde, we're still going over all the old patterns and really analysing them, because Virgo is very analytical, so really analysing all the old patterns in our life. By Wednesday, this is UK time, the moon has moved into Gemini, so we're probably going to want to be a bit more chatty. However, the moon is going to oppose Saturn, so you know, if we're talking about stuff, we may see challenges to our beliefs, you know, what we're working on. We're seeing the nodes, the south node approach an exact conjunct with Neptune. So we will be getting more messages from spirit, Christ consciousness, you know, we might see that increase a bit more. We've got the Jupiter now at 2 degrees of Libra, and we have the Sun at 28 degrees of Virgo. So on Thursday, the Sun is at the tested degree of Virgo. So we're going to be tested on all of the Virgo lesson over the past 29 days, whether that has been for you. And it's going to be still squaring Mars, so it's going to be a bit of Martian energy there. And we still have Saturn squaring Neptune. So look, if you feel you're not getting messages from spirit and stuff like that, it's really about your beliefs, changing your beliefs really, and kind of looking at that in regards to, obviously we've got Mercury going direct on the 22nd as well, so things begin to move forward a little bit of our thought processes, so things might clear up a little bit, but Mercury will be squaring Saturn and opposing Neptune. So again, we might, with Mercury moving forward from direct, we might actually get what has been blocking us intuitively or psychically over the last few months. On Friday the 23rd, the Sun will move into Libra. Okay, so Thursday, Friday, depending on where you are in the world, the Sun will move into Libra, and it'll be the equinox, and Venus will be 29 degrees of Libra. So as soon as the Sun comes into Libra, Venus is going to fuck off into Scorpio. Expect some intense love then, you know. And Jupiter's Sun's moving to a conjunction with Jupiter, and that is going to see an expansion of whatever you've got at 3-4 degrees of Libra or any other signs. You will see those kind of impacted a little bit. And the moon will be moving into Cancer as well, so the moon will square the sun. Just as the sun moves into Libra, the moon's going to square it, so emotional issues will come up again. These really have been really quite intense times. I don't think we've had such a long period of squares and oppositions and T-squares and grand squares that we've had over the last few months. You know, the universe is really pushing some people to the extreme, you know, and yeah, so it's quite intense. So Saturday we see the moon in Cancer oppose Jupiter. No, it's not opposed Jupiter. Begin to square Uranus and oppose Pluto, and quintile Saturn. Moon in Cancer is going to be when we're most emotional, so next weekend will be quite emotional. And then come Sunday we see the Sun at 2 and Jupiter at 3 degrees. So Monday, not this Monday, but coming Monday after that, we will see the conjunction of the Sun and Jupiter. And Venus will have moved into Scorpio. So I think what is likely to happen is that earlier in the week I said about Venus opposing Uranus. I said that love relationships might end very abruptly or start very quickly. If something has started, then there's going to be a lot of emotional intensity in it straight away, and it'll feel quite emotionally intense. It'll probably be very, very sexually intense as well. If a relationship has ended abruptly, then you're going to be feeling, both parties are going to be feeling a lot of anger and emotional intensity around it. Remember, Scorpio is a sign you really don't want to piss off, because they're the sign that holds grudges for the whole of their fucking life, basically. A Scorpio will come and knock on your door and punch you when you're 95 because of something you did when you were 15, you know? That's how long Scorpios hold on to stuff for, so it's going to be quite intense. But I don't know what to say. It's been, you know, I know a lot of people have been really through it at the moment, you know, really through the fucking mill, you know. And just remember, you know, if you haven't experienced this in your life, please do not judge the people who have experienced it. Please be mindful of the support and the advice you offer, you know. Please, you know, I always think my thing about walking a mile in somebody else's shoes, until you've walked a mile in their fucking shoes, you really don't know or comprehend what they've been through or where they're coming from. You know, it's as simple as that. So let's have a look at the Gods and Titans cards. Again, so this is the third week now. Yeah, there's still a huge amount of fear around that's still being released. You know, we have the big election coming up in America in a few weeks, and the choice is between complete and utter fucking evil and real evil. You know, there's a choice between two people that you wouldn't choose, you know, like Hitler and Stalin, or, you know, Pinochet and Idi Amin. You know, it's a choice between the lesser of two evils. So there's a lot of fear around that, around what will happen when either one of these people become president, you know. And other fears brewing up in the UK. We've got fears around Brexit and all of this, and people have got fears in their life. You know, I think a lot of people have worked really intensely on their shit, but they're not seeing any changes. And there's a lot of fear around has all this worked? Has this transformational work really embedded it in? And for those who are empathic and who are doing the work and they're also having to go out to a job and do day-to-day things as well, you know, there's kind of a lot of fears about how it's affecting them and whether or not, you know, you can get to really. We're still kind of working on letting go of all of these fears, you know, these kind of deep-seated fears. And, you know, as I've been saying for a long time, as I've been saying for years, for at least 5 years now, that this period releasing all the fucking karma that has ever been on this planet. You know, there's a shitload of stuff that's been released, and all the crappy, awful, shitty, terrible things that human beings have done to each other being released. All of the patterns of generations of what our fathers, grandfathers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmothers and grandfathers, all they did to each other, and how they fucked each other emotionally, and all of that is all being released. And it's a lot to be released, and as such, there's a lot of fucking nasty fucking entities running around as well, you know, who are really playing on our fears. You know? So I recommend that you cleanse your energy body as much as you possibly can, to not allow these little fucking entities to attach themselves to you, because they will really feed on your fears and really kind of talk in your ear constantly about it, you know. Personally, I've had this week, I've really had to work on and let go of my body image issues, working around the need to be hugely muscly, not just muscly, but hugely fucking muscly, you know, ridiculously muscly, and all of the fears around that. For me, I've had to let go of, and it's a really difficult thing to do. You know, some of these fears that we're letting go of are real core fucking things. It's really difficult. So well done if you've been doing the work, you know, and just carry on. So, the Harry Potter cards. Okay, so we've got the Page of Swords. this kind of wistful young person of indeterminate gender. I can't see if they're male or female, and I think that's important, really. Kind of let's go. Well, so there's this young trans person looking down from the world and looking at how it's all kind of set around masculine, feminine, and all of that, and how it's good, evil, black, white, blah blah blah. Looking down on it and really thinking about it. We're going to have the sun go into Libra this week, so we're going to have some air energy. Jupiter's there already. We're going to have some air energy again for a long time, for the first time in a long time. We're in air time now, air energy. So it's a good time to look at our thought process, what we think about the world, how we think about the world, and what we communicate, how we communicate our thoughts, is to look at that. Here we have the Three of Wands. So this is a young woman looking out on the lake, yeah? So we've got a transgendered person, we've got a young female woman looking out at the lake with the Three Wands there. She's kind of lighting the way. The sense is that her friends have all gone away on a journey, and she's there with a torch to make sure they can find their way home. So this is also to remind us that we will always find our way home. Wherever we are, whether we're from this planet or whether we're from other planets, whatever our origins are, we will find our way home. And here we have the King of Wands, and that's the full moon behind him. We've just had the full moon yesterday, and it was a full moon in Pisces and Virgo axis. The next full moon will be the Libra Aries axis. So it's really kind of looking at, between this full moon and next full moon, what we want to release from our lives, what power we want to release, and to call upon that, pardon me. And the King of Wands, that fire energy again, that passion, that exuberance, that drive, that kind of assertive energy. So it's about kind of encompassing that to help us move forward. Thank you.